I was a 50 pluser Gen Xer and in mid-career and feeling very stuck. Not that long ago, and made a significant leap and change, and that has made all the difference of moving from what I describe as burnout to having a complete breakthrough. And it required, in my case, my story is quite a leap, but I think that there's also versions of my story that if you recognize any of those symptoms of feeling burned out, overwhelmed, stuck, and unable to figure out where to move next, and yet knowing that retirement isn't the solution at this point, that there's got to be a different way to move forward out of that mid-career crisis, you're going to want to stick with me today, because I think there are some things that you could benefit from in hearing my story and some variations on it. I'm Jeanette, the North End Coach. I'm glad that you're here with me today. So, what's my story? Well, in a nutshell, I had been with my larger organization for 15 years, and I had grown, particularly during the pandemic period, started to get really I used the word burned out before. I think that's a good word to describe the overall set of symptoms. I was frustrated with my circumstances. I described to a number of people over the course of time, and I think this is still an accurate description, that many of the things that I worked on felt like the tide went in and the tide went out, and the tide went in and the tide went out, in the sense that I was working from as much of a centralized position in the organization as you can have when it's a decentralized organization, and that feeling of wanting to make a difference, but having kind of the hoped for difference of the different projects I was working on come to fruition would be then eroded, so that you get that feeling of the tide coming in and out. And what I came to realize, closer to the decision to take my leap out of the organization, was that was so exhausting. And what I was really craving is some of what I had more of in earlier times in my career, when my job was a different combination of things, and where I could, through individual one-on-one coaching, even group facilitation of different development opportunities or team engagements, change management sorts of things, I could actually see how the work that I was doing made a good difference in individuals' lives. And that was so rewarding. And I craved that in the, pandemic and post-pandemic years. And for whatever combination of reasons that we don't have to go into here, because it really doesn't make a difference, that wasn't a part of things. And so, of course, I was feeling burned out and frustrated and not sure, what happened. And so that caused me to, kind of, long story short, look at all the different ways that I had skill set to get more of that back. And so I decided that I would focus on a particular skill set around coaching and really do a deep dive into that. And so my decision making, which is very strange for me, because I would generally describe myself as risk averse, and I think those around me would say the same thing. So it was very unusual for me to make such a risky jump out of, full-time W-2 employment into, let's be an entrepreneur and let's, open up our own, coaching business. And, they say, like, jump in with both feet. I jumped with both feet and everything else. And, no, do I regret it? No, I don't regret it. I mean, it has been a fabulous decision for me. Hard work to, be working on building my business and take on the full set of entrepreneurial skills, but it got me moving. And that was the really critical thing. And I think, based on where where retirement is for me and what I want to accomplish between then and that period of time, and, all sorts of other things, which we'll talk about in a different video. But it's the right decision for me. And it really did bring that. Do I feel burned out? No, I do not feel burnt out at this point. Do I feel like I've had a breakthrough? I've had a huge breakthrough, because I so feel the difference that I make in the lives of my individual clients, and through things like, making a difference on bringing some of, what I think about different things to YouTube as well. It feels very rewarding for me. So it has absolutely been a breakthrough. But there are variations on my story that also could have been less risky and could actually bring about the same breakthrough outcome as the path that I chose to take. And this might be a path that, is a good model for something that you're considering. So let's say that you are in your W-2 role. So you are, you have the security of the income that you're bringing in at this point, and you need to make a change. There's some sort of transition that needs to happen. Maybe you don't want to transition out of the current role. Maybe that's a good thing for you to stick with and start the work of identifying, well, then what else? What could bring about that breakthrough? And experiment with the breakthrough in more like a side hustle sort of thing. So could I have done that? Yeah, I could have done that. I could have taken that as an approach. I could have said, in my particular situation, I said, coaching is it. I'm going to work with that skill set as the basis for my transition. So I could have decided to do the things that I did to develop my business, but on a smaller scale. So I could have done, the coaching education. I could have gone after the International Coaching Federation credential that I have obtained in a slower way. So it would have taken me longer to get to the same outcome, but I could have fit that in. Now, I didn't think that was going to be a practical solution for me, because I couldn't see the hourly demands on me didn't seem to suggest to me that I could have a side hustle, and also the sense of how exhausted I felt from the burnout didn't really suggest to me that that was a good course. But it might be for you. So it might be something to consider as a variation on the story, to do it in, really that part-time basis. It could be something that you don't even do that. You say, I'm going to do just stick my toe in the pool. I'm going to do some of this by taking on some, a very small volunteer opportunity. So it's not as big as doing, even starting a business and a side hustle, but I'm going to do that by, volunteering into a community organization. And of course, all of this is not built around my coaching. It's built around whatever it is that you would be leveraging for moving forward. So you see, there's not just one path. There's variations on that theme that could be very workable. Now, if that's of interest to you, but you're not sure how you can explore that, I'd be happy to sit down with you in a complimentary, one-on-one strategy session. I'll drop the link to my scheduling calendar in the description box. If that's of interest, just find a time and we can start to explore that together. I'd be happy to do that for you, because I want you to have the same feeling of breakthrough that I am reporting from my side of the fence. All right. So I will be back in a couple days with another video. In the meantime, thanks for joining me today, and we'll talk again soon.